Welcome to Tzu Chi This Week. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in this week's top stories, Tzu Chi volunteers in China visit the elderly to share some holiday cheer. We meet 2 elderly Tzu Chi volunteers who overcame setbacks in life to extend their assistance to the needy. Tzu Chi volunteers in Germany reach out to refugees who have fled their hometowns. In China, Tzu Chi volunteers visit seniors in nursing homes on a regular basis, bring the seniors on laughter and joy in an otherwise sedate environment. Let's join the volunteers from Beijing and Changsha as they respectively visited the elderly ahead of the holidays.
In China, Tzu Chi volunteers in Hunan have arrived at a senior center in Changsha's Tianxin district.
我们都是你的女儿、你的儿子来看你来了。
好。
Senior Zhu, who is normally reserved, is happy to see that the volunteers are here, while the volunteers spoil the senior with compliments.
好了吧？
好，果然是个大美女啊！哦，真是大美女。
Each visit, the volunteers would ensure to bring their thoughtful care. Some volunteers help to bathe the seniors, while others help with the haircuts and shave.
I saw how everyone treated the seniors like their own parents.
The most touching moment was when the volunteers served tea to the elderly. It really struck a chord in everyone's heart.
你要听话，要保重身体哈。多穿点衣服。那个您儿子给你拿的那个棉袄要穿上。好。
Before saying their farewells, volunteers don't forget to remind the seniors to take care of themselves until the next time they meet. Meanwhile, in Beijing, Tzu Chi volunteers there are also visiting a senior center. As it was cold in Beijing, volunteers not only chatted with the elderly, but also got them to move around to keep warm. Joining the volunteer work for the first time, Tu Jingying said the event left quite an impression on her.
It's really the unity and love of the group and how each individual cares sincerely for someone that truly moved me. It's not something I am familiar with.
With Tzu Chi's love in their hearts, these seniors are warmed from inside and out.
In Kaohsiung, Taiwan, Tzu Chi Care recipient Mr. Gong suffers from mobility problems due to his back injury. Recently, he moved into his friend Mr. Fang's home to keep him company. However, Mr. Fang's house sanitation was less than ideal. That's Tzu Chi volunteers mobilized to help them clean up the place. Meanwhile, in central New Taipei City, volunteers visited a senior who is in the final stage of cancer. They hope their love and care can help the senior live out the rest of her lives with dignity. Here is more.
30 Tzu Chi volunteers in New Taipei City have gathered in Sanchong to help clean up a home. But this case is a bit different from others.
I saw the grandmother and grandchildren sleeping on the floor, and it tugged at my heartstring. I couldn't bear to see that. The senior suffers from the final stage of cancer and is mostly bedridden. She's very weak and feeble. When people touch her, it hurts her. We want to provide her with a bit of comfort in her last days, as she's currently sleeping on a mat on a cold floor.
On cleaning day, volunteers brought over a mattress, bed frame, and more.
I asked the senior if it would be okay for me to bring over the extra mattress I have at home for her to sleep on. I then added, if she needs comforters, I have them as well.
Often humbling themselves, Tzu Chi volunteers have long let go of their pride to get down on their knees to scrub after someone's filth. However, today, Tzu Chi volunteers have seized a moment to help a senior live out the final days of her life with a bit of dignity. Meanwhile, in Kaohsiung, Tzu Chi volunteers have come to help Mr. Fang and Mr. Gong, bringing with them cleaning tools and an electronic bed. Working in a dimly lit environment, Tzu Chi volunteers rip out Mr. Gong's wooden bed to replace it with a new one. Also pitching in to wash the layers of filth off the walls is 60-year-old Mr. Fang, who recently just had a heart stent surgery. Mr. Fang met Mr. Gong at a park and invited the poor guy to come keep him company at home. When Fang found out, Gong didn't have a place to sleep at night.
Mr. Gong has trouble getting in and out of bed, so we brought him an electronic bed to sleep.
Now with the roof over his head and the love of the volunteers in his heart, Mr. Gong is bursting with blessings and gratitude.
Besides saying thank you, all I have are more thanks from my heart. Thanks to Tzu Chi's kindness, I have received a lot of assistance and encouragement. I will stand up once more.
Thanks to Tzu Chi's assistant, Mr. Gong has given himself a goal to work towards.
In China, Tzu Chi volunteers in Sichuan have held their winter aid distribution in Huaikou. At the distribution, many Tzu Chi Care recipients and scholarship recipients have pitched in to help others in need. They hope to seize this opportunity to reciprocate Tzu Chi's kindness and also to learn from other volunteers. In addition, staff members from West China Hospital also joined a free clinic on site, safeguarding the health of local residents. Let's join them there. At Tzu Chi's winter aid distribution in Huaikou town of Sichuan, Zhou Yan has come to help her fellow countrymen. Zhou Yan, who suffered from the onset of lupus in February of 2015, has received the help of Tzu Chi volunteers from Guangdong and Sichuan. Now she's finding ways to pay the love forward.
I have received help from Tzu Chi, and I also want to help other people at this winter aid distribution. I hope I get to feel what it is like to be a part of the big Tzu Chi family.
Besides Zhou, Tzu Chi scholarship recipient Chen Huiming has also traveled for more than 1 hour to volunteer.
I received a lot of help from Tzu Chi during high school years. Therefore, I am very grateful to Tzu Chi. Tzu Chi has taught me to help others, so that's why I am here today.
In addition to giving out aid supplies, the volunteers also hold a free clinic on site. Therefore, 16 medical staff from West China Hospital have also come to provide medical services.
Remember not to eat cookies, candies, or anything else after you brush your teeth at night. You should go to bed. Tzu Chi Foundation has given us a chance to contribute, so those of us who have medical knowledge can serve the public.
Coming together to give of themselves, the volunteers and the medical staff have already created a ripple effect of love and gratitude. In our next report, we meet 2 elderly Tzu Chi volunteers in Yilan whose lives have changed for the better through volunteering. 64-year-old Huang Lugong used to have frequent fights with her husband and even contemplated suicide. Thanks to Tzu Chi, she learned to appreciate her family and has been caring for her ill husband in recent years. But let's first meet 68-year-old Chen Qingqing, who is illiterate but is able to recruit about 200 donating members for Tzu Chi over the years. In addition, she has learned to take notes during Master Zheng Yan's sermons. We find time to do the morning service by getting up an hour earlier at 3:50 a.m.
With such a strong determination to learn the Dharma, Chen Qingqing in Yilan has even learned to write to take notes during the Master's morning sermons.
I cannot write since I've never gone to school. I also have difficulties reciting the sutras. However, I rewrite my notes after the sermons so I can form deep affinities with the Master. The Master talks about how the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas enlighten all living beings. I must listen to these teachings.
Having known Tzu Chi for more than 30 years, Chen, who sells breakfast for a living, has also inspired her neighbors to join in the recycling efforts.
I collect plastic ropes and packing bands. My mobile diner can also be considered a cultivation ground, as some people make donations here. The Master said that there's no need to explain ourselves, just do what is right. We simply do things sincerely.
Despite her old age and illiteracy, the elderly volunteer has overcome all difficulties to learn the Dharma, which will help her stay firm in carrying out Tzu Chi's work.
嘿，我对坐阮老公这台。
所以师姐你是遮大家的爱心妈妈呢，哈。
对啊，所以说大家拢讲我真鸡婆，前村啊。
After I finish my work here, I'll still go grow or pull vegetables in the field.
所以现在很多人都说跌破眼镜。
Many people could not believe that I know how to grow vegetables.
之前先生还没生病以前
，Before my husband fell ill, he let me do what I wished. I'd say I'm going to Hualien tomorrow, and he would tell me that it's fine, go ahead. He gave me my space. Therefore, now that he's ill, I should care for him.
我照顾他是理所当然。有没有很 Q 啊？我的红萝卜拔了嘞，很小颗。
小时候的印象就是他。
She used to argue with my dad a lot before she joined Tzu Chi. She also talked about committing suicide, and we even had to go look for her.
她闹自杀，大家去找她。
My mother has been supporting the family since my grandmother and father fell ill, but she has not given up doing Tzu Chi's work. The best we can do is to share her work, so she can go to Tzu Chi and recharge.
总说一句啊，就是只要你
All in all, being content makes you appreciate your life. Much of Europe continues to be troubled by the ongoing refugee crisis. In the midst of uncertainty, Tzu Chi volunteers in Germany continue to lend the refugees in the country their assistance.
Away from their homeland, refugees in Europe endure hardships while homesick. Though the German government has recently taken a more conservative approach in its refugee policy, Tzu Chi volunteers there still visit refugee shelters regularly as usual. To the west in Düsseldorf, participants of Tzu Chi's year-end blessing ceremony offer the refugees their prayers and blessings.
With our love and with our goodness, we shall empower others around us. Only with love can we pacify the seeds of hate.
Even grown-up men can't help but shed their tears for the ongoing tragedies around the world. As participants pick up their blessing and wisdom red envelope, they also vow to continue to be a positive influence in society.
We now join Tzu Chi's year-end blessing ceremonies in West Malaysia. In Johor Bahru, participants relish in the blessings they have and vow to cultivate more blessings. In Kuala Lumpur, some 10,000 people show up at the 6th year-end blessing ceremonies held over the New Year weekend.
The Kuala Lumpur Jinssi Hall has been very busy, for 6 year-end blessing ceremonies were held in 3 days. Many of the participants have brought their filled bamboo coin banks. The sound of coins trickling reminds all to seize every moment to do good.
Though my body continues to be tormented by many diseases, as if I'm entangled in karmic retribution, I hope to take in Master Zheng Yan's spirit by making donation every day. After I've done that, I will bring my coin bank here. It's like I'm contributing to the circle of love every day.
Watching the Tzu Chi Canon, which recaps the work done by the charity's volunteers in 2015. Everyone reflects on the past year while looking forward to the new year.
I think every one of us has been completely transformed after we joined, both physically and spiritually. So we invite everyone to make a New Year vow. Since we have conducted ourselves properly last year, we shall do even better this year.
Nearly 1,000 people took to the stage to perform the song 37 Practices of Enlightenment to pass on the Dharma through signing. Next, the elderly volunteers from the local Tzu Chi recycling stations also took to the stage with an environmental message to share with all. At the end of the event, over 10,000 people who participated in the ceremonies are ready to start the new year right. Over at the year-end ceremony in Johor Bahru, as everyone prays for the world, they also reflect on themselves.
Because I'm blessed, I should learn with a grateful heart and cultivate myself spiritually.
On stage, volunteers share lessons they have learned through making home visitations. All now deeply understand the importance of knowing and cherishing their blessings, while cultivating more blessings.
Actually, I also one of the poor girls. I think I also want to help more and more people because our world is big and also got so many poor people.
With a grateful heart, everyone wants to do their part to give this year, thereby making this world a better place.
Next, we meet a young volunteer at Jingsu Books and Cafe in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. 11-year-old Chin Kai Ling was the youngest participant in the singing of 37 practices of enlightenment being performed in the local year-end blessing ceremony. Despite her young age, she has memorized the sutra verses by heart and has even become a little sign language teacher to her mother.
Close to 1,000 people will be taking part in the sutra adaptation of the 37 practices of enlightenment. Among them, Chin Kai Lin is the youngest. Nevertheless, she has memorized the verses by heart.
In this part, I must put my palms together. Whenever I'm nervous or when there are too many things on my mind, I'll count my breathing and calm down.
The young girl attends the study group in the community diligently. At home, she is her mother's sign language teacher. Although she is only 11 years old, she does her best to understand the sutra verses. Then when she talks about the Dharma teachings, she sounds like an adult.
Whenever you talk, you can create karma. For me, I used to get angry easily, and I would scold my brother often because he picked on our baby sister. But now I tell him what is right, and he does not pick on her as often.
Chin Kai Lin enjoys reading the daily journal of Dharma Master Zheng Yan more than children's books, and she is often inspired by its contents.
The journal contains a lot of stories on suffering, therefore I feel touched reading them. Sometimes they move me to tears. I want to help those who suffer so they can have food to eat.
Chin Kai Lin enjoys volunteering at Jingsu Books and Cafe, and through serving people, she is putting her love into action.
At the Tzu Chi year-end blessing ceremonies, organized by the Tzu Chi Selangor and Kuala Lumpur chapter, many participants have been inspired to put their love into action. As some decided to start recycling and eat more vegetarian meals, many others have also seized the occasion to sign up as volunteers. For many, the ceremonies gave them the best chance to make their New Year resolutions. Let's join them there.
At the year-end blessing ceremony in Kuala Lumpur, Chow Yan-ming is filling out a volunteer registration form after watching the Tzu Chi 2015 year-in review, which inspired her to put her love into action.
I felt for the needy when watching the scenes of disaster areas. Therefore, I think I should find time to contribute to the earth.
Besides Chow, the principal of a refugee school in Selayan, which has received Tzu Chi's assistance for the past years, also seized the occasion to express his gratitude.
When we started in 2000, it was very difficult. Our school has expanded to a 3-story building, but there is still much to be done. Thank God, thank you, Tzu Chi, and thank Master Zheng Yan.
In addition, some are also inspired by the environmental exhibition on site.
I am very surprised to see how plastic bottles can be turned into blankets. How can the hard materials be turned into the soft blankets? From now on, we will also recycle plastic bottles.
回收咯。So when you come and see, you get a bit idea of what you're supposed to do. Whatever I can recycle, I put it for recycling. Change a few habits, be more vegetarian.
As many people are inspired to go amongst the public and give of themselves, they will be able to make a difference for themselves and society in the new year.
In our next report, we meet an elderly Tzu Chi volunteer in Taipei who has overcome her setbacks in life to reach out to those in need. 75-year-old Zheng Hu Caifeng, who is illiterate, considers herself a humble and poor talker. Nevertheless, she often warms people's hearts with the food she cooks and her sincerity. Many people say that she cares for the needy like her own family and consider her as a role model for all people to learn from. Here is more on her story.
I could not move my leg all of a sudden on August 8th of last year. At 4 or 5 in the morning, I thought of Caifeng and called her. Do you have medicines? Bring them to me. I cannot move my leg. She then came to my place in the morning.
I
was really touched seeing how she prepared hot meals for my husband every day after he went through a surgery in May. She cares for me like her own family. Some Tzu Chi sisters and friends have left their lunch boxes with me. They do so seeing how often I cook for other people. There's a blind and deaf care recipient in our community. A Tzu Chi sister asked me if I could cook for him since I live nearby. I agreed and have been providing food for him for 6 years. I do it on rainy days and even during typhoon days since he lives close by.
我爸在民国84年过世嘛。
My father's death in 1995 made a huge impact on her. Then someone introduced Tzu Chi to her, so she found a way to help others in need. Volunteering also helped her find a new purpose in life.
I pray for none other than good health, so I can continue to do Tzu Chi's work. It is what I enjoy the most.
In Keelung, the new Jingsi Hall has recently officially opened for use after its 7-year construction. To make the best use of the venue, local volunteers organized Tzu Chi's year-end blessing ceremony here. They also hope to recruit more volunteers as well as celebrate the opening of the new Jingsi Hall at the occasion. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. See you next week.